Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score!
Ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Washed it down with 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary. And I said, Stone Cold, why have one when you can have them both?
Swung out and drilled! Deep right center! Away back! Gone for Tony!
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown!
Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton?
Awful.
How is she awful?
Hates freedom.
And now, Any Given Podcast with your hosts, Brendan Ward and Ethan Simpson.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Any Given Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Brendan Ward. I'm sitting here with my main man,
Ethan Simpson. How are you?
So, Ethan, what the hell is going on with 2020? Every day, something new, man. Every day. Yesterday, it was just random stuff, and then by the end of the day, Chris D'Elia's getting canceled. This morning, I wake up, and people are mad that J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar aren't tweeting about Black Lives Matter, which doesn't make sense because they're out at protest, and it's two people that tweet like once a month, maybe anyways.
Yeah, and you know they're going to drop a fire mixtape.
Yeah, Kendrick and J. Cole are the two people you just do not go at for this. Like, why?
Yeah.
It's just every day something new happened. Someone new got canceled. Some more racist stuff has happened.
Mm-hmm.
People are being lynched in California and it's getting called a suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is some wild, crazy stuff. I mean, obviously it's a tragedy what's going on in California, but yeah, calling out J. Cole and Kendrick is ridiculous.
Those are your two frontline guys. It's
Yeah.
like number one and number two for the movement for sure. Like, and obviously we stated we're part of the movement, but yeah, that's like number one and number two. And I was just like, and there were a lot of people that came to the defense on Twitter, so I was happy to see that. But the fact that I see him trending for that, I was just like, are you kidding me? And then Chris D'Elia, what the hell, dude? Like, you've already got the look.
Right. Andy, oh, what's up, dude? My name's Topher on that Workaholics.
Workaholics. It's funny. I told you I've been watching that You with my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a pedophile on it.
He played a pedophile on the Workaholics, too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you no wonder, like, he's resonating with the part almost, it seems. Like, allegations, obviously, I'm not going to convict the guy until it's proven, but screenshots prove everything, and it was hard to lie with some of those screenshots last night.
You know what? I didn't see the screenshots. I was just reading articles about it. But yeah, that's like the guy could get like pretty much any chick. There's girls that throw themselves at him, all like online. But this guy wants to go after underage girls. Like,
and yeah, it was 14 is when everyone's claiming it happened, which is like the height. That's where he was like booming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, obviously he's released some stuff since then, but that was pretty much his coming out party was around then.
Yeah, that's some stuff you don't want to get into.
Yeah, just don't message underage girls, especially if you're overage. There's no fine line there. It's nothing but trouble.
Right? And he's, yeah, like you said, it was 14. That's when he was at the height of his, like, come up.
Yeah. You're famous now, dude.
Right? And he had that show on NBC, the Detroit show or whatever.
Yeah, he's doing that. He's doing the roast of Justin Bieber on Comedy Central and that was a pretty big cast that did it. Obviously, that made Pete Davidson who he is today, even though we both really can't stand that dude. You had Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart on that one. Jeffrey Ross, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some people are, they got something in their brain messed up like that to where they think it's okay, which obviously it is not.
It is not. By all means, I will fight the fact that J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar were getting canceled, but I'm not going to fight for Chris D'Elia. Bye-bye.
No.
See you later. I thought you were funny, but it's gone too far. But enough about just 2020 in general. Let's get into 2020 in sports. Kyrie Irving last week in a conference call with the number varies between which report you read. Some reports say 80, some reports say up to 200 players. Said he didn't want the NBA to return because he felt it would take the spotlight of the Black Lives Matter movement, while also being cited that he was backed by players like Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell actually went to Twitter to claim that statement was false, that he was not actually in on that movement. But also, according to Nets players in a group text, Kyrie Irving said that if it came down to it, they could start their own league. I don't know how you feel about this, but to me, it's kind of contradictory, right? If you don't want the NBA to come back because you think it's going to take that spotlight, what the hell is creating your own league going to do?
Right, and those guys could have done. They pretty much created their own league when they were all playing 2K on ESPN.
Exactly. It's not like they've been out of the limelight. Maybe he has, and there's a lot of speculation that he's just trying to do this because there's thoughts that he was told he wasn't making the trip to Orlando because of the injury he sustained, but right before the break, which I mean I guess could make sense, but with the NBA returning, with baseball still up in the air, with football very much possibly getting pushed back a month, the closer and closer we get to August, and the more likely it is that the Hall of Fame game and preseason games are going to be stuck without fans. I think it's starting to get more than likely that the NFL will be pushed back. So with them to be able to come back at the end of July and maybe not have to compete with football for 2 months,
yeah,
the NBA has the spotlight. Why not use that spotlight? And then there was something today where I heard on the radio that the "I Can't Breathe" shirts that the Cavs wore back in 2017 when him and LeBron were still on the team. Was orchestrated by Kyrie Irving, and he was pretty upset that LeBron got most of the questions about it.
I mean, how are you going to be upset? LeBron's LeBron. Of course, there's going to be more reporters talking to him than Kyrie. And
I think it was it was Ken Carman, and he was basically like, so Kyrie didn't get asked any questions that night, and then the reporter was basically like, not about that. I forget who he was interviewing, but basically, I side with Kyrie on that. I don't think the NBA should take away from the spotlight. I just don't necessarily think it will. I think it'll give the players, especially those big name players, those people we idolize, those people that are our mainstream media, people we read about, look up to, tweet about, read on Twitter every single day. It'll give them that limelight, and with possibly being the only sport available aside from golf, which is really a subsection, and NASCAR, both smaller popularity. So with the NBA, I think it's just going to add to that spotlight, because you can't tell me LeBron's going to come back and not say something.
Right, those guys aren't going to voice their opinions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's nothing but a spotlight to me, I think.
Yeah, I think, if anything, it would put the spotlight even more on it.
Exactly.
Because everybody's talking about, ESPN and on Twitter and stuff, what the players have to say. And now if they can be on ESPN and TNT and those channels, then it's going to give them even more voice, because people will see it more than, if they don't follow LeBron or anything like that.
With the absence of fans, we are looking forward to the most adaptive NBA experience we have ever witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
So not even just like the TNT interviews or the ESPN interviews or the Fox or ABC interviews. I'm sure there's going to be players that might have mics on them in game that you can interview. I'm sure like there's going to with only players sitting in the crowd. Could you imagine the middle of of like a Nets Pelicans regular season game, which I doubt that'll happen because I imagine it'll only be by conference for your regular season. But in the middle of a game that, like, yeah, people are fighting for playoff spots, but in the middle of a game, LeBron's sitting in the stands. You don't think somebody's going to walk up to him, sideline reporter's going to walk up to LeBron and be like, hey, so what do you think about what's going on in the world today? How do you feel? Just a candid opinion from LeBron off the court for the first time we've been able as a media member to talk to you in less of a professional setting.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. And, yeah, I think it would put more light on the matter, like I said earlier, just because those guys get to now voice their opinion on national TV, and people that might, basketball might not be their favorite sport, but they've missed sports so much, they're gonna tune in, and they're gonna listen to that even more. So I don't have a problem with the NBA coming back. Like we agreed on, I don't think it's going to take away from the spotlight.
Well, kind of like with me. Like, I'm not the biggest NASCAR fan. I'm also, baseball is probably my third sport, but I've missed baseball more than anything I could even think of. I told you a couple weeks ago, I wasn't sure, like, I could miss baseball as much as I do.
Yeah, I know.
I like baseball, but I'm certainly not, like, an avid, like, super fan. Like, I love the Cleveland Indians. I root for them. I watch baseball all the time. I'm just, like, I didn't think I'd miss baseball as much as I miss football and basketball. But I think I miss it more. And I think it's because I was supposed to have it.
Right? Everybody was expecting it. And it was everybody was getting ready for opening day. And everybody was so excited. And then it was just like, boom, shut down.
We were a week away, bro.
Right, yeah. Like, that was just straight. They cucked us on that one.
Yeah. They were like, it's here. It's gone. And it was like the earliest opening day in Cleveland home game history. Well, don't quote me on that because Cleveland history is over 100 years old. So possibly they played before March 26th. But in recent memory for me in my lifetime, the earliest opening day at Jacobs/Progressive Field that I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. There's been so many of them where it was snowing and stuff like that, especially at the old municipal stadium. Because everybody would be in their Browns gear, because everybody has Browns jackets.
Yeah.
But to switch over, speaking of Cleveland, Kevin Love, it was announced today that he will be receiving the Arthur Ashe Courage Award at the ESPYs coming up. I can't remember. Is that in late June or early July?
To be honest, I will have to get back to you on that because I am not 100% sure with everything being rescheduled. I could look it up while we're talking just to get back to you on it. But winning the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage because of the role he played in bringing mental health to the forefront of conversations when it comes to NBA player health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean that's the one thing that he even said a lot of sports guys, they don't really like to talk about their mental health because in some people's eyes it makes you quote unquote weak. I don't believe that. I think anybody that struggles with mental illness, like anxiety, depression,
all of it,
are actually pretty strong. And Brendan, I have anxiety. So when Kevin Love came out and said that, I was like, you know what? I appreciate Kevin doing that because he used his platform to get more attention on something that in the last 10 years has been talked about more than any other time in history.
Exactly. Brought it to the forefront, mainstream media, to not only like just say that people are going through this, but to kind of cite that he was too. I'll say that, like you said, a lot of people perceive it as weak that mental health is a thing in an individual. However, I think talking about it is probably one of the strongest things you would do. It in a lot of people, it is so hard to even accept it with yourself. So to be able to kind of tell people about it and stuff like that, it's not easy and it's very hard. And the people that can't do it just can't do it. And it's something that I'll never judge somebody if they can't do it. If somebody can do it, by all means, I hope they do. It's better to read. It's good to reach out. Obviously, do it on your own time. It's hard for everyone. Everyone goes through different stuff. What I go through is not the same as what you go through. What Kevin Love goes through is not the same as what Damian Lillard goes through. But to say they have more money doesn't mean they don't go through stuff. Everybody, no matter how much money you have, gets dealt with the evils of life, no matter what.
And you can fix a broken arm, you can fix a pulled hamstring, but mental illness is something that it's not physical. You can't see it unless somebody's obviously having like a tick or something. But yeah, it's like, the doctors can't go in there and really put a cast on it, and 6 to 8 weeks, you'll be good.
You're not back to full strength. It's not something that is necessary. Like I won't say it's incurable because I've seen people fight it and beat it, but I would still say that they're living with it as well. They just know how to handle it in the best way possible for them.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I saw a interview with Bill Hader, and he came out and was talking about how he suffered with anxiety and all that, and somebody asked him, and they were like, well, how do you cure it? And he's like, I didn't cure it. He's like, I still go through it every day, but what I've learned to do is I see it, and I acknowledge it, and I don't try to fight it or anything,
Yeah, face it.
He's like, I pretty much put it beside me, like I can see it and what's going on. And so he's like, I don't think there's going to be a day that I won't be fighting anxiety or anything like that.
No, there's never gonna, and that's what I was saying. I won't. I'm not sure I could say it's curable because I don't think it is. Because yeah, you could learn to live with it, but you can't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. And it's like there's some days where you barely feel any anxiety, and there's some days where you don't want to get off the couch holding your dog,
Yes, I completely understand. There's some days I won't leave bed. 2 days ago, Monday was pretty much one of them. I didn't want to move. Yesterday, I felt pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Today, I'm kind of in between. We're here and there. I'm good enough to be awake and conversational and talk to everybody, but I'm also like, I don't know if I really want to do that much. You know what I'm saying? Like I got the stuff done I needed to get done. We're obviously doing this. It's a good. I think we're doing pretty good at it. But other than that, I've watched TV and ran people around all day.
I feel it.
I didn't really want to do anything, but want to go ahead and get into baseball, my man.
Yeah.
Let's get in a little more positive. Maybe not positive because it's not good that the MLB and the MLBPA are still not at an agreement, but seemingly are close. I know MLBPA Communications on Twitter just tweeted out a couple hours ago that report of an agreement was false, but that doesn't mean they're not close. It means that there's not an agreement in place. So basically the big thing with that is players do not want to budge on that full proration of salary. They want to get paid what they are owed for every single game they play, which is understandable, right?
Yeah.
Like, they earn that money. The contracts were given to them in good faith. You can't really account for the fact of everything that was going on. And if you're going to tell me that it is not the employee's fault in any other business that this stuff is going on, and that, you know what I'm saying, like any business, if it's not the employee's fault that this is going on, and we're still going to take care of every single employee in any other business, baseball players are just employees.
Yeah.
They're independent contractors who earned their money. It's not their fault that they play a sport that makes so much money in this world. They are afforded to make millions of dollars a year.
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it. They're independent contractors because they sign the contract, and then once it's up, they can go wherever they want.
Yeah, they are employees to a business. It's not the Cleveland Indians baseball team. It's Cleveland Indians LLC. It's a business. Francisco Lindor is an employee of that business. Yes, he deserves to be paid for every single game he plays as a Cleveland Indian by the Cleveland Indians. Now, I can understand the revenue stuff. Now, if there was something in their CBA about revenue sharing, that's where I could see there being a problem in negotiations. Obviously, we can't give you half of the revenue if we don't really have any freaking revenue coming in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works in the MLB, but in the NFL, you have to have the full coverage of player salaries in an account, in escrow, before making any revenue for that year. So it's not like they lost that money. In fact, they're going to have to pay players less. You know what I'm saying? Than what they were gonna.
Yeah, I mean, with all this stuff going on, like COVID and the killings and the marches and stuff and the protests, everybody, I think, in sports and even, just fans are just kind of probably like, guys, shut up. You sound like spoiled brats right now.
And exactly. It's really hard for me to sit up here and say, well, they're employees, they deserve their money too, when everybody's going through what they're going through. And we said a couple weeks ago, it's a really bad look if the argument for baseball not returning became money. But here we are 3 weeks later, technically under lockout for 2 weeks now. And it's about money. And it's about how many games they want us to play. Obviously, the players proposed full proration for 114 games. No way that was going to happen starting mid-July.
No.
And then owners only wanted to play 50 or 60. I think that's impossible to do in baseball. How do you determine playoff teams with 50 games in baseball?
Yeah, I would say somewhere like 80, 82.
I thought maybe half a season would be perfect. Like you said, 81, 82.
Just so, play the half the season. That way, it's a little better than 60 or 50.
Well, exactly. And normally, if you think about it, by the All-Star break, you probably know who has a legitimate shot at the playoffs. Yeah. Obviously, the Mets at the end of the year last year made that huge turnaround and almost put himself in. But, normally midway through, even last year, you knew the Indians had a shot at the playoffs. You knew the Twins had a shot at the playoffs. It was just who was going to win that division. You knew everybody pretty much that was going to be in the race. Obviously, things shake here or there, but I think 82 games, if in a season where you're forced to not play 160-some, is perfect because it allows you to really see who could legitimately be a contender without putting anybody could. The Tigers could win 25 out of 50 games.
Yeah.
And be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? And you can't tell me right now the Tigers deserve to be a playoff team.
No, they do not. They are no bueno. They're caca le pew.
Exactly. Any team could be hot for a 50-game stretch, especially in a year where the hot teams might not start out that great because it's so freaking messed up.
Yeah. Well, just figure it out. Because I know the players want to play. The coaches want to coach. The front offices want baseball to be back. The fans want to be back probably just as much as the players do. But they, like I said, they're sitting there kind of like two spoiled brats, like going back and forth. And I get what you were saying, they're employees, of the teams and companies. But excuse me. Pardon me. Yeah. I think it just seems like everybody's just kind of like, all right, quit whining,
Yeah.
Once you get in daddy's, Lamborghini and
Take your ass to Arizona.
right. So, speaking of the MLB, Brendan.
Want to talk about Mad Dog?
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about Mad Dog. So, if you don't know, Chris Mad Dog Russo, one of the legends in the broadcasting industry, especially the sports broadcasting industry. If you don't know who they are, I suggest you check out the 30 for 30, Mike and the Mad Dog. Anyways, he went on a little rant on his show today about Bryce Harper tweeting out about wanting to play and how he sucked last year, which is true. And that's what Mad Dog is known for, telling you the opinion of that might not always be what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes to Twitter with a sound grab of exactly what he said. He tweeted out, "I'm not interested in hearing from MLB players tweeting that they are ready to go, especially ones that are underperforming their contracts." Now, somebody that isn't underperforming their contract is Christian Yelich. He's obviously won an MVP recently. However, not for this tweet. He tweets, "If the requirements for having an opinion require success in one's field, then you should take your own advice and..." Come on, Yelich. Do you not know who this guy is? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, he probably just saw that and was like, he got offended, felt personally offended, so he came back. But that's kind of like anybody that obviously, like, knows who Mad Dog is. He's one of the biggest legends in broadcasting history. So Yelich, that was kind of like you punching a brick wall there.
It was running into a brick wall because if you know like you said, if you know anything about the broadcasting industry, sports radio probably isn't what it is today, isn't as big as it is today if it weren't for Mad Dog and his co-host Francesa.
Yeah.
So success in one's field, he's a Hall of Famer already.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hall of Fame. Like Yelich, we're not even sure if you're in the Hall of Fame yet, but don't quote a Hall of Fame if success is in one. It is the requirements, because that man has the requirements. I can't say nothing else. He has the requirements you're asking for. He doesn't underperform. Still one of the best in radio.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And like, I mean, you can't really underperform and be on Sirius XM. Let me take that back. You can, but have a Sirius XM show and still you were on when he was with Francesca.
WFAN?
Yeah. So like those are power hitters.
Yeah, two of the biggest radio companies in the world. First of all, if you're not successful, you don't even get on Sirius.
Yeah.
Sirius don't take no slouches. It took Howard Stern 20-some years to get Sirius. And it wasn't until FCC was like, "Nah, we're done with Stern," that he got it. And Sirius was like, "Oh, yeah, that's probably something we should jump on," because everybody wanted Stern. And then now Mad Dog's on there. Exactly. Literally, he's on satellite radio. People pay a monthly subscription to listen to that programming. It's not normal radio. You can't just turn a car on and turn on Mad Dog. You have to pay to listen to Mad Dog if you want to listen to Mad Dog. And people do. His ratings are still sky high.
I mean, yeah, that was a weak comeback.
It's just all. It's like in the Twitter Hall of Fame for blunders. We'll figure out some type of segment and we'll start naming it something. Find bad tweets, but for right now, Christian Yelich, you are the MVP of bad tweets in my mind, at least for the last week.
I think there's a Twitter account called Freezing Cold Takes.
There is one.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if it was if it was considered a take, but I guess it could be. So yeah, let's submit his ass for Freezing Cold Takes because, come on, Yelich, know who you're responding to. I'm not gonna respond to you and be like, well, if I shouldn't respond to him and be like, MVP is a requirement to be able to have a conversation. Because I'm dumb, right? He was the MVP. You know what I'm saying? I can't freaking I don't win that. That's essentially what he said. What?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a dumb thing to say. He's gonna get chewed out tomorrow on air.
Oh, Mad Dog is gonna go off on him. You talking about success? Like the playoffs thing? You want to talk about playoffs? You want to talk about success, Yelich? You've got one MVP.
Right.
I had 5 in a row.
All right. So before we get to our next segment, I would like to just apologize for yawning. I don't know why. I just had a yawning attack.
I'm surprised it didn't catch me too. Here we are yawning again.
I know.
But yawns are contagious, man. So I'm surprised it didn't travel over this way. But speaking of the next subject, what you got for me, Ethan?
Baker Mayfield came out in a statement earlier this week that he said, I am absolutely, when somebody asked him if he was kneeling for the anthem. And he also came out and said, if I lose fans for kneeling, that's okay.
I mean, did you really expect it to go any other way?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, even if, like, Drew Brees, like we said last week, was the culprit of kind of not even saying anything that bad, just saying things at the wrong time. So even if Baker Mayfield, and I don't think he does, but even if Baker Mayfield thought against any of it, thought against the kneeling or anything like that, does it pay for him to say that? You know what I'm saying? But also, I truly believe that Baker is completely behind the movement, completely behind the kneeling. I've got something in my eye for some reason. But yeah, dumb question, right? Just trying to get Baker Mayfield to stir up fans.
Yeah, it was on his Instagram. And the initial question, somebody said, please tell Browns fans you're not going to be kneeling this season. Mayfield replied, pull your head out. I absolutely am. And obviously we know what he's referring to when he says pull your head out.
Yeah, obviously he doesn't want to say it. He's a professional. I won't say it either. I'm a professional. But
I don't swear at all.
Sure.
I never swear.
Sure we don't swear. I believe that.
So Baker came out after the media was all upset with him. Or not upset. You know, he was getting mixed reviews. He said, everybody's so upset about my comment, doesn't understand the reason behind kneeling in the first place. Oh, jeez, here we go. Nate Boyer and Colin Kaepernick came to an agreement that kneeling was the most respectful way to support our military while also standing up for equality. I have the utmost respect for our military, cops, and people that serve our country. It's about equality and everybody being treated the same because we're all humans. It's been ignored for too long, and that is my fault as well for not becoming more educated and staying silent. If I lose fans, that's okay. I've always spoken my mind, and that's from the heart.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on Saturday, he also was on a video on Instagram working out in an "I Can't Breathe" shirt.
I didn't see the second one that you just said, but in my kind of notes, all I wrote was good on Baker for taking a stand. Like I said, by all means, I truly believe he means it, and because I know the character of Baker, and don't tell me he doesn't love Odell. He doesn't love Jarvis Landry. He doesn't love everybody on that team that's not of the same color of him. It's not. It's and we've preached it. If the world grew up in sports locker rooms, this wouldn't be a problem. It's so easy to talk to anybody of any single race in a locker room. It doesn't even become a thing that we're different colors. It's not a thing. Like you said, we didn't see it. We didn't know it until recently. We didn't really know this stuff was that big of a deal. Obviously, it's a huge deal.
It's because it's they're your brothers. You guys are all brothers. You guys are on the same team. You got one focus. You do anything for like any of them. So,
and
yeah,
if you know anything about Lorraine or Kent, it's not like we live in some high class white preppy neighborhood. It's mixed. Lorraine's actually known for its mixture of nationalities and origins and races and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. There's even reports like that ships were brought with people from Mexico and Puerto Rico up to Lorraine, kind of around. And Lorraine was a big port to get Hispanics into America. Obviously, that's a conversation for a different time. But yeah, even growing up with people of different colors and races and origins, it wasn't a problem. It's never been a problem. It still isn't a problem. We just didn't really, because of that, we didn't really see it until recently. Even the people of other races didn't necessarily see it as much, and now it's a huge deal, and it just continues to happen, and it's disgusting. So, exactly, good on Baker. Why wouldn't he make a stand? Why wouldn't he take the knee with his fellow teammates and brothers? And I'm sure there might be a few people when the season starts that decide, oh, it's not a good thing, and we're not going to take a knee and stuff like that. But moving forward, Browns wide receiver coach says Odell and Jarvis Landry, who both are recovering from surgery this offseason, are making progress towards starting the season fully healthy. What do you think about that?
That's what I like to hear.
Exactly, right? Great. Fantastic. Not much else I could say about that.
Yeah, I just love hearing that.
Obviously, you want your star receivers on the field. Nothing else I can say about that. Anything else you got for me, my man?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna give you a alley-oop real fast. Your boy Ezekiel Elliott was just diagnosed with coronavirus.
I mean, like, you could point to and blame immaturity, and I'm sure a lot of people will, because of just the news around Zeke previously. But here's the thing: it's obviously a big thing. He's not the only player on the team. Now, if you could point to the 10 people that were at Dak Prescott's party, and if those are the 10 people that got it, or those are the people that got it, then it becomes a problem. Then it's more of a big deal to me. But Ezekiel Elliott is pissed that his name even got brought up. His mom said that he was very asymptomatic. Obviously, I don't think it puts the season at any threat. I just think that it brings into the limelight again that the fact that this is still freaking going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very much been like, oh my God, it's pretty much over. What happened to the pandemic? But I think that report the other day really kind of put a wrench in things with the fact that it reminded us that this shit is actually happening.
Right, like it's still around. I know they're opening places back up, doing the distancing and all that, but yeah, it is still out there, folks.
Absolutely.
It's out there. But yeah, I mean, Did they say, was he at the party at Prescott's?
Yes, he was.
Oh, so there could be more of those guys that got infected.
Yeah, it could. Well, it said several Cowboys and several Houston Texans. So, it. But his is the only name that really came out.
Okay. Yeah, well, didn't you say his mom was getting like death threats on Twitter? Or something like that
Yeah,
from
people,
disgruntled fans.
Yeah, disgruntled fans tweeting like, "There goes our freaking effing season. I can't believe this was our year. I can't believe Ezekiel Elliott's immature ass would get sick." And that's when she was tweeting out like, "Funny thing is Ezekiel Elliott wasn't ill at all. He had no symptoms of COVID-19. We in fact had no idea he was ill. He just happened to be tested and it came back positive. Thank God, we found out."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
When they did instead of
Thank God, Ezekiel Elliott's a big name dude. He could have went and like things are starting to opening. His agent could have set up like a meet and greet or an autograph signing or anything, and that's 1,000 people that got it. Thank God we found it, especially if he was asymptomatic. I'm asymptomatic. I could have it. You know what I'm saying? You're asymptomatic. You could have it. We don't know. Are we gonna blame him because he had the ability to get the test, and it actually came out that he had it?
No, I mean, it probably came through the Cowboys organization testing him.
Exactly. With us being a month or two away, we're already in the middle of June. August 8th is the Hall of Fame game. That's only a month and a half away. You know what I'm saying? Almost 2 months. I'll say a month and a half. It's time to start testing those people because you need to know who needs to sit away for 2 weeks because then training camp's in a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? You want to leave it at that?
Yeah, let's leave it at that because I'm pissed off now.
I know. I could tell. That's why I was like.
First of all, tweet at Ezekiel Elliott. Don't tweet at his goddamn mom.
Right.
Because first of all, I'm smacking you. You tweet at my mom.
Right.
So don't piss somebody off and then cry wolf when he actually says something to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what he got in trouble for in Vegas when that security guard ended up on his butt. Freaking dudes were hitting him and stuff like that, and Ezekiel got pissed and kind of just pushed him to the side. Ezekiel Elliott's a 220-pound super athlete. Of course he's going to knock somebody down if he pushes him.
That's like his whole job. He runs through the middle of linemen.
He runs people over. That's his job. So don't provoke somebody and expect not to get hit just because he's an athlete. Is my thing. And don't go at somebody's mom because that's just freaking ridiculous.
Right. I made some comments in 2010 about a certain basketball player's mom, but I was also freshly 14 when that happened. So
we were also very young and naive, and a lot of people don't know better at that age. I'm not saying it's forgiven. I'm not saying it's a good thing that you did it. Obviously, it's not. Obviously, it's not.
Men tweeting at somebody's mom.
Don't be a freaking 30, 40-year-old NFL fan being like, well, this is bullshit. Like, yeah, it sucks. But we found out a month and a half before he even had to report anywhere. And it was reported he didn't get it at training facilities. He wasn't. None of the players that got the virus have been in training facilities. So it's not the NFL's fault. It's not like it's being spread to their facilities. Like, I don't get why you would go at somebody's mom at all.
Yeah, that's or their kids, you know.
Anybody. If you're gonna tweet something like that, be a man. Tweet at the guy.
Yeah. I don't know. That's Twitter fingers for you.
I can't say the Drake line because it says the wrong word, but
and that's why I only use the one.
Oh no, it's Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Like, come on, man! Don't tweet at somebody's mom. You probably shouldn't even tweet at Zeke because it doesn't end good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's probably not going to even say anything back, but his mom did.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, though, if Zeke tweeted back at them, they would get all excited, one, and then two, they would probably delete their tweet. It happens far too many times than I can count on Twitter.
There's a lot of times where I don't even know like a conversation because somebody deleted their tweet. I don't know who tweeted something, but somebody tweeted something at some chick, and she shut him down, and then the next tweet she said was, "Please don't delete your tweet because I know you will." And so he finally responded. He was like, "You know what? I actually won't delete it."
Right.
Good on him. Take his L. Take your L and walk away. We all take L's at some point. I'm wrong sometimes. You're wrong sometimes. Not everyone's right. Christian Yelich is wrong sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's all I have on the agenda today.
That's all that's been going on in this week of sports, thanks to the coronavirus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Denny Hamlin won a race.
Yep. Yeah.
That was Sunday. Nothing else has happened since then. I don't even know. Is there a race on today? It's very possible.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, but then again, I was like, I normally see stuff on Twitter and Instagram and all of it. I haven't seen anything about any sorts of races.
Have you seen Clint Boyer's July 4th NASCAR? His design on it?
No, I haven't.
It's Barstool. So on the front, it's a back-to-back World War champions. Then, like going down the side, it's got two fat-ass eagles on the side, and then right behind it says "Too big, too strong, too American."
That's
and then
awesome.
On the other side, it says USA undefeated since 1776.
I just pulled it up. That is an awesome looking car, bro.
Yeah.
Freaking Barstool having a big day then. Miley Cyrus found out in public with a Call Her Daddy hat on.
Yep, and then I think Prez made some money in the day trades.
There was an article came out today that said Portnoy leading an army of day traders.
There you go.
Coach Doug's Big Cats NCAA football Twitch stream is one of the biggest streams in the world.
Right.
Barstool is at it. Hey, Barstool, if you find us funny, give us a call.
Right.
Email us. Hit us up on any of the socials. You can see them right there. Shoot, hit me up on any of those. I'll give you my number. We can talk anytime, any day.
Right.
Let's get it going. I'm good to work.
Hell yeah.
I'll go wherever you need me to go for Barstool.